welcome to another episode of Razy TV. Today I'm in the workshop with my friend James and we are working again towards my goal of 350 brake horsepower. On today's episode we're going to have a go at fitting the Airtec, what's it called again? Turbo elbow, that's the bugger. Yeah, I bought it in black and we're going to fit it for now onto the standard turbo. But it's going to give us a rough idea how it transforms the car. And I'm hoping for a little bit more responsiveness, but it is the last restriction that I have got going from my cone filter down to my turbo. So this should hopefully free up maybe one, maybe two ponies at that when it goes off for the bigger turbo and all the mapping and all that jazz. But either way, it's going to be more efficient than the standard plastic one that Ford have provided us from factory. So James behind me has already started taking it apart. I'm going to jump on and give him a hand, and hopefully this shouldn't be too much of a pig of a job. Only problem I'm seeing so far is I've installed a few aftermarket goodies like my strut brace and all that jazz, which looks like it's already in the way. Postpone. So yeah, let's crack on.
Held in the echoes, secrets that we know, doors that open for us in a moment. Keeping the light on, righting our old wrongs, keeping our sights on everything we want. We catch our breath in the middle of it all, chasing echoes.
Okay then, so we've stripped down the necessary pieces to get it off. Had to take the top mount off that holds the bracket for my strut. James is just undoing the last bracket that goes on to the turbo elbow that comes from factory. And he's starting to start wiggling it up. You've also noticed that you move this coolant bottle out of the way, because then you can put your hand in there and you can get, I don't know how well you can see this, I'm going to try. I'm trying to get the camera down there. No, you're not getting a very good view, I'm afraid. But you can get to the top two of your turbo elbow from the top, from removing this pipe. But the only way you can get to the bottom screw is if you move this bottle out of the way. Then you can get your hand in there and remove the final screw on your turbo elbow. In the right, Jimmer?
Yeah, I found out the hard way.
You found out the hard way.
Yeah.
And that's why I've roped him into helping me today, because he's already done it on his Fiesta. So I thought, why the hell not? I'll get him in and he can help me do it on mine.
Bit hot down there.
Yeah, we've just arrived up here, so it is a bit of a toasty engine bay. We're just trying not to burn ourselves at the moment. So we're going to get this off, get the turbo elbow off. And then probably the next bit will be comparing the old against the new. Okay, so that's the original turbo elbow off. I was kind of half hoping to see some cracks or a split or something in it, but there is nothing, sadly, because I was hoping that this was the cause of an intake leak I've currently got, which I was kind of hoping that would be it, but sadly not. Against the new one, it does come with, as you can see, a gasket, whereas the original one didn't. It's just got a rubber O-ring of some description on the bottom. But how much sexier does that look compared to the original? It's that little bit bigger as well. So that should free up, as I hope, maybe a couple ponies if I'm lucky, but without a map on top of it, you'll never know really.
Well, mine didn't make much difference, did it?
No, sadly not. But it's a stronger unit all round regardless. And it should, if not anything, help with the maintaining, I don't know what, a bit more reliability and airflow. That's plastic, that could break, that's metal, that's less likely. So now we're going to slap this one on. It's practically the reverse of how you took it off. And then we're going to go from there, aren't we?
Yeah, hopefully go on a lot easier.
Okay, we've just come across that it is easier to put the vacuum line of the solenoid onto the actual elbow itself before you put the actual elbow itself back onto the turbo. That is if you're working on it on the car. If you got the turbo off the car, which I'd probably recommend doing if you're going big turbo, doing it all off the car. Well then, it should be pretty straightforward for you. But if you're doing it on the car, stick the vacuum line on first. Otherwise, it's just an absolute pig to try and line up so far. Really, really fiddly.
Yeah, not nice.
But yeah, now that the vacuum line's on, we're going to line up the actual elbow itself and
Bolt it up.
bolt it all up and put it all back together how we found it. One thing I don't like doing is actually looking back at how much stuff you have got to take off the car just to get to one little piece. It always makes the bay look absolutely bare. It's unbelievable just to get one little piece in place. No, but it's all like a jigsaw puzzle at the end of the day. You build it, you take it apart, you put a bigger piece in or a stronger piece, you put it back together again. That's the perks of working on this sort of car. It's very much a switch and swap, bolt on a lot of the parts for these cars. So don't let it put you off, because it will go on the way it came off. So bear that in mind whenever you do want to modify these. It is very straightforward and just literally switching out and swapping. Okay, so that's the engine bay all put back together. It literally is, once you've taken it apart, put it back together the same way that you took it apart, essentially. If it came off one way, it's going to go back the opposite way, if you get what I'm saying. It's all in order. So anyway, that's all fitted now. Now I'm going to start it up and see, well, if there's any sound difference. Well, just see, really. Hope that no error codes come up. That would be a bonus. Like ear breaking loud now. Do I recommend it? Yeah, because that's unbelievable how much a little piece of metal can change the whole sound of this car. Now, if you guys don't agree that sounded absolutely epic, you know, get out of it, because that really, for a little bit of pipe, finishing off that intake, you just don't realise how much restriction is in that little elbow. It is well worth spending that extra £100 just to get it done, because it is going to help big time. Right then, as you guys remember from the last video that I'd done working on this car, Mark sadly had to leave due to family problems that he had to take care of at home. Fair enough, fully understandable. So that evening I stayed up and I got the riveter out and I finished off riveting through the canards, getting them ready to go on. So while I've got a little bit of help up here, it's a little bit of extra eye measuring this up, James and I are going to slowly take our time and start putting them on the sides of the car. First, we're going to masking tape up the areas, well, the lines that are already naturally in the bumper. You can see we've already started. Hang on. We can see we've already started on one side. And now it's just down to marking out where on that tape line we're going to stick them to, how much gapping, and go from there, really. Hopefully, they're nice and even, and I don't have to drill them out, get my bumper filled and sprayed, because that would just be a ball ache, and it won't look very pretty with random holes drilled into my bumper, which is not what we're going for, is it, James? No. So we're going to take our time now, and we're going to mark up on the car. Sorry about the glare of the sunshine. I mean, how often do you use it? We get sunshine in the UK.
Very
I'm sure you can forgive me about a little bit of glare right about now because we don't see the sun. So we're going to mark up now on this tape. Find somewhere to put these bad boys. That is why my number plate is now on the bonnet. Personally, I actually quite like it there. A bit of rally spec. So yeah, we're going to get on with that. And I'll show you the finished product when we're done. Okay, so by the power of YouTube, the canards are now on. After some careful measuring and some riveting. Bit of drilling every now and then, sadly, because one or two did mess up, but luckily with rivets they do drill out. They are on, and in my opinion, I think that makes the front end look even more aggressive. Now you can see why I had to put my number plate on the front of the bonnet now, so yeah. So then today we achieved having the Airtec turbo elbow uprated and put on to the car. You heard that made one hell of a difference to the sound quality. It's gone so much deeper and so much louder. It's unbelievable. I didn't think it was even possible for the car to make even more noise than what it already does without fitting a bigger turbo. But proof is in the pudding, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that the sound quality that came through, I know this camera isn't the best at picking it up, well, I hope the sound quality done it justice because my ears are still ringing and that was about an hour ago.
Told you so.
Yeah, all right. The canards are on and it does make the front end look more aggressive. That is what I was aiming for. Number plate relocation for a reason, and if you didn't already know, it is legal there. It is illegal if you put it on the sides. So just a friendly heads up, you can face up to 3 points and £100 fine if you do decide to put your number plate down the side. So then guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video where it will be another step, hopefully, towards 350 brake horsepower. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye for now.